Now, we did learn about function types and about the fact that functions can be passed into other functions as parameter values. Now, it's not just that, functions can also return other functions. They cannot just get them as parameter values. Now, this will become more useful once we also learn about anonymous functions and closures later, but I still already want to show it to you. For example, we could have a function, getTransformer function, that actually has the job of returning us another function, which we can do by returning double, for example. We now also just have to make it clear that this function will return another function by adding the appropriate return type. For example, my transform function, so my custom type, which I defined up here in line 5, or the longer form, if you prefer that. That would also be fine. Whatever you need. Here I'll go for the custom type with transform function. Now, whenever you execute getTransformer function, you get a function as a return value. Because that's also possible. You cannot just accept functions as parameter values, you can also return them. And here I'm returning double. Please note that again, I'm not executing it, because if I would return the result of calling that function. So I would return the return value of double. I just want to return the function itself here though, and hence I don't execute it. And with that, I return the function itself as a value. And of course, like this, that's really just some dummy code, not too useful. We could make it a bit more useful by adding some logic to it. And for example, we could say that getTransformer function has the job of picking the right transformer for the data on which we want to perform the transformation. And hence we could expect some numbers here, which might be a slice of integers, or a pointer to such a slice to be precise. And then we could check if numbers 0, so the first number in there, is equal to 1, in which case I want to return double. And we should dereference this here, like that, to make this work. Here we also need parentheses, because unlike with structs, we have no shortcut for slices when getting an address and wanting to access a specific value. So we dereference that to get the slice, and then we access the first value. And if that first value is not 1, then we maybe return triple. So now getTransformer function will return different functions based on the input value here. And again, it's just some dummy code, but it's hopefully clear what it generally does here. And now we can use this getTransformer function in main to get different transformer functions for different numbers. If I have more numbers here, and that's, let's say, is also a slice, but a slice that starts with 5 and then has other values, then for these two different slices, when using this getTransformer function, we should get different transformer functions. Yeah, that's a lot of transformers and functions. But let's see whether it works. I can get my first transformer function here by calling getTransformer function and passing numbers into it. To be precise, the address of numbers, since getTransformer function, the function we just worked on here, wants a pointer to a slice, not the slice itself. And I can get my second transformer function by again calling getTransformer function and passing the address of more numbers. And now transformer fn1 and transformer fn2 will be functions themselves because getTransformer function returns a function. That's the code we wrote a couple of minutes ago. And now I can get my transformed numbers here by again calling transform numbers, so that function we used earlier already, and passing in my numbers here, the address of my numbers, and passing in transformer function 1. So the transformer function I derived here, because that is a function, because that is what getTransformer function returned. And I can get more transform transformed numbers by calling transform numbers again, but by now passing in more numbers and passing in transformer function 2, for example, the function I got here. And now if I output this as well by printing my transformed numbers and the more transformed numbers, if I execute this code here after saving everything, then you will see that we get doubled and tripled numbers here. The original inputs can be seen here, and we do have the doubled and tripled values here, because I got different transformer functions by calling getTransformer function for these different number slices. Because of the logic we wrote inside of getTransformer function, and because of the fact that this returns a function. Again, this is definitely a made-up case, but the key takeaway is that functions can return other functions, and that can come in handy in certain situations. Again, it will be even more useful as soon as we also learn about anonymous functions and closures.